All right, so friends, we are catching up to live time on this one because this was happening at the same time as another series. But this is just game one, so we should get this full series in. We've got Nicov in the blue. Nicov has been in every Hidden Cup. Nicov is always such an insane player. He's so aggressive, and he's so good on some of the maps we have in the pool. And we are caught up to live time. Let's go. That's actually amazing. Nicov in the blue playing as the Chinese. Babaorum playing as the Armenians here. And, you know, I don't know how in tune you are, viewer, with the competitive scene. However, if you pay attention and I say French up-and-comer or like newish French talent, you would probably think players like Sato or players like Margugu or maybe Sizkan or maybe Salet. Like, there's a lot of French players who are very technical, very fast, very aggressive, right? But maybe lack some strategic knowledge here or there. Babaorum, he is very unique across the French scene. Like, he is a bit slower, he's a bit more strategic, and he just doesn't have like the little big peaks of micro, the little big peaks. Wow. He doesn't have the little peaks of archer micro that some of those other players have, but I think he's an underrated player. The thing is, he's not a full-time player. He's not playing as much as others. He's not grinding as much as others, but he had a really good performance in the first round. And it was actually the first series of the first round. And now this is the last series of the second round. So there's been a gap between, you know, us covering him. Almost feels like forever at this point for me. So Babaorum's gone for the Armenians. The mule cart can be really helpful on this map because of how awkward the wood is. And I do think that the eco for the Armenians could be really strong. And he's going to go for man-at-arms here, and then Nicov. Did he catch a glimpse of that flag? I think he did. And Babaorum's trying to hide the militia here, funnily enough. And Nikov's probably confused now, but... And Nikov's like, I know you're up to something. And he found it. Okay, that's great. Fine. A great find there from Nicov. Nikov's just going to go for scouts here. So Chinese have been seen as one of the best civs on this. I would say, I'm not sure how I feel about Armenians, honestly. If I had to pick civs for this, I would say Chinese #1. And then you just toss in a bunch of others like Khmer, Japanese. I really like Franks, Magyars. Maybe Romans, in all honesty. I think Romans could be a bit underrated. This has been a map where we see Chinese played a lot. Does make me wonder what the civ pick was for Babaorum first. Maybe he does have Chinese as well. I can talk about that once we see the draft. But it's man-at-arms here for Babaorum. Maybe not something Nicov was expecting when he started the game, but he did scout it. And behind this... Is it a dock? Is it an archery range? It is a mill, actually, for Babaorum, so he does not go for a follow-up military building. That can be a real problem on this map. But if your opponent's just going scouts, you can just add spears. Right? So you don't need any more army right now, except for spearmen. Okay. More ferries back here for Nicov. He may need to consider taking soon. Men-at-arms have still not found any value. Yeah, guys, Nicov is just so good at this game. And I love my storylines. You know, this largely is like a family to me, you know? And Nicov has been so good to me over the years. And he's made so many comments to me about Hidden Cups. And there's so many fun things we've talked about. Maybe not so fun for him, like the random bracket, really putting him in bad matchups. But Nicov in a Hidden Cup would be great. Mr. Delaying of the eco upgrades himself, who's gotten much better with that these days. But it is funny thinking about old Hidden Cups. You see a player who's incredibly talented, but they get really late horse color, really late double bit axe, and then it's like Nicov confirmed, you know? You did tell me once that he actually thinks that that talk has actually helped him improve in that regard. So well done, guys. Well done. That's on you. Still hasn't helped me with my farms. Okay, so archers have defended this very nicely for Nicov. Okay, and now is where Babaorum needs a follow-up, right? The scouts didn't do any damage to you. So that's a positive. But your opponent has archers, and you need something. And supplies! Are we gonna see feudal age longswords? What? Okay, so the Armenians can go for infantry units and age earlier, with the exception of man-at-arms and dark age. You cannot do that. But that means you can go a step up and age before, which means you can go pikemen in feudal age. It means you can go longswords in feudal age. And that is what he is going to do. What in the world, man? This could be interesting. And it'll be skirms and longswords, maybe. But for now, this woodline's getting harassed. It's still, like, so pricey, though, right? Supplies makes them cheaper to make at this point. Nicov was thinking of walling the side of his base and then just stopped for some reason. And still looking for damage. I wish I had a camera on Nikov's face right now so I could see his reaction when he sees longswords. I'm sure he would not react at all. Okay, he sees this. And longswords coming into the eco. Nicov! And Nikov's going to get out of here. Great reaction. Longswords are still really slow. They still can be vulnerable against archers, right? Awkward times, though, for Nicov. Again, he was not expecting this. And you do wonder how good his eco is going to be against the player who may not have any problems at home. I said may not. This could still be a problem. There's no armor research, so the archers could still be killing them, but the skirms in there is just enough resistance. And the longswords are into Nikov's woodline. Oh my god. They're still so freaking slow. Can you get squires in feudal age with the Armenians, guys, or is it just the techs? Obviously, spending 100 food right now on squires would probably be kind of be awkward, but okay, you can't get it in feudal. Well, I just thought of that when he missed. Nikov's making a demo. Has Babaorum seen this? He has not seen the dock. Okay. Nicov doesn't care how he gets the kills. He's going to go in anyways before the demo arrives. And, oh man. Oh man. Babaorum, Babaorum, Baba run away. Oh God. Oh God. The skirms and the longswords go down, and think of the investment. You went longswords in feudal age just to run into an explosion like that. Beautiful demo from Nicov. And we are seeing the meta change a little bit on this map as we go, right? Like, players are realizing that a random demo could be really helpful. And this is just, I mean, I don't need to reiterate this, but that was just not good for him, right? It feels like with this play, you're so all in that you needed to have done a bit more damage at this point. Now, he's scared. He senses something. He sees the archers. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. What are we doing, people? What are we doing out here? What? Such a short memory. And I think, unfortunately for him, he's just completely stuck. His skirms and his longswords are supposed to counter this. And with the inclusion of some demos mixed in with the archers, it's just not working out. It is funny. Nicov yesterday told me, and I tried to keep it a secret because I don't want to spoil anything before this round, but now it's no longer a secret. Nicov said, I have yet to make a dock yet on Mudflow. I don't know if it's worth it. And I said, I think it's worth it in late feudal age. This is very early feudal age, in all honesty. I also have to point out, Nikov's eco is abysmal. He has 2 farms. 2. His wood is a mess. His villagers are idle. But Babaorum doesn't know that. Babaorum just knows he continues to lose all of his army. But Res Collected is actually ahead for Babaorum, despite losing more villagers. Oh, man. Nicov eco! Oh, look at the bumpage. Oh, God. The archer's not helping. Maybe he's overseeing the whole process, but does it even matter? I don't even know if it matters. Kills another villager there. Could end up mattering. It depends on how much Babaorum fights. Like, if he kills these archers, he's got enough skirms right now, guys, to kill these archers. He could maybe make it happen. Nicov just bought 400 food for 535 gold. But he is killing villagers. It's a big focus for him on killing villagers. He kills more. Babaorum has to abandon all those farms. Nicov has 0 on food. Excuse me, 1 on food. This guy. 0 on food. What is this game? What is this game? And, oh, there's another demo. Okay, so demo's going to kill the skirms, most likely. We've seen it all before. Well played from Nicov. Boom. Well played. Killed 2 skirms. I mean, this isn't ideal, but he will clear this up as well. This is... I mean, it's such a big moment. I actually think Babaorum can still win this, maybe. Like, Nikov's eco is just horrible. It's just bad. And it's going to be hard to fix at this point. Oh, but there's a hole in the wood line! There's not a hole in the wood line. 1 palisade wall is enough to keep the villagers alive, guys. Wow. Nikov's going to need more demos. And he's going to continue to make more demos. Obviously. Because all he has is wood and gold. What a weird game to start off this series. It's been... I mean, this is one where you really see the moment. And how stressful it is for Nicov. To lose this game could really get to him. Because he's done so many good things. And he will feel like, if only I had my eco in check, this would have been the easiest win of my life. How many demos do we have to see before Babaorum makes a dock? 10, is it? Because I'm getting a little frustrated by the lack of demos. Your opponent has archers in the middle. Your opponent is going for demos. Why are we not doing the same? I feel like your own ships would be incredibly helpful here if you're Babaorum. Especially against a pack of archers that continues to lurk around. Market behind this for Babaorum now. And he's going to try and balance his eco to go up to the next stage. But res collected is very close. Very hard game to play. But very intense moment here. Best of 5 to move on to the 3rd round. Guys, who is the winner here facing? Can you remind me? I actually forget. I think it might be Sobek. Sobek beat Miguel. You'd have to check Liquipedia, I guess. Kingstone. Okay, so I didn't... Kingstone won against Say My Name. I did not cast that series. It actually happened at 1 a.m. for me last night. I was like in and out of sleep looking at it. But Kingston won against Say My Name 3-0. These market prices are going to confuse both players when they look at the market because they're both using it so much. Oh, Nicov! Last time I saw an economy like this. Oh, God! 3 villagers down. Well played from Nicov again. I was casting Capoch and Lucho in an Arabia game, and the eco looked really bad, and I made a Argentina economy joke. And I'm not sure if I gained more respect from Argentinians or lost more respect from Argentinians. So this is me not making this is a very Argentina economy joke, okay? I'm not making that joke. Love you guys. Nikov's mill is going to go down. Nicov is up, but so is Babaorum. But Babaorum does not have navy. And the galleys having fletching, the galleys will be more effective than demos now at this point. And Nicov still feels like he's got just enough to hold here, barely. Just barely. What a messy game. Couple shout outs here as we watch these galleys move along, because I've been delayed here. Thank you, Humble Jelly, Mr. Fluffy Bunny. Thanks for the sub. Yeah, you're welcome for the raid, Fluffy Bunny. Hope you enjoyed it, my friend. Thank you, Dave, Reich, Catherine, Marty, Brown, and or Brownian, sorry, and then Hopeless Captain. Thank you guys very much for all the support of the qualies. This is We're close to the end of the second round. This will be the end of the second round, with still some epic sets left to come over the next 10 days. But, yeah, I mean, it's been long days. It's been a lot of energy and effort leading up towards the main event. And I appreciate the people who've shown up and watched, and especially the subs and support. Makes all the... I mean, I'm enjoying it, despite all the stress and lack of sleep. But it makes it all the more worth it, so thank you. Don't want to imply that I'm not having fun here, like this farmer who's burning. It's funny, if Auto Farm was on, he would actually make a new farm there. Still no dock for Babaorum. Fascinating. But he has left the wood in the middle, which is really, really smart. I don't know how Nicov got a villager over here, but he did end up making outposts all along this area. And what a great spot for him to see. He shows up with a few more archers, gets a few more villager picks. This is what Nikov's been doing all game. And he will drop a castle in the middle. And that will give him more protection over the wood. Here come longswords. We have two-handed swordsmen now in Castle Age. Okay. Can't help but feel like knights still are going to be pretty decent against holding this. Nicov might even expect it at this point. It looks like he sees the units are coming through. I like the strategy from Babaorum. It's something different. We haven't seen it yet in this qualifier. I think it's a fun strat. And I think this strategy could have worked if he also made demos. There's so much movement from Nicov in the middle of this map that just went unchecked because of lack of navy. But there are the two-handed swordsmen. They go up to 12 attack, which is more than a knight. They still have half the HP of a knight, though. And I think Nicov will feel like he can kill this many of them. Good micro from Baba. But yeah, Nicov with the tower, with the archers, with a monk, should be able to hold. Two-handed swordsman against feudal age galleys. That was not something I expected to see today. And Nicov will try and convert one here. Actually kills the one that he was converting, which is kind of funny. Loses his archers. Knights will kill this, as we expected, though. Dude, these things are epic. This is maybe one of the best attack animations in the game. Look at him swing that with his two hands. Look at him step into it. Dang, man. I feel like I'm going to pull an oblique just watching that. Oh, God. Archers from Nicov back here. What a nerd. Continuing to attack. And there's weak villagers here because these villagers are probably on the wood line at some point. But Nicov just happy to control the game at this point. And he's making Chukunu. He's making galleys. So many range units. This is so good for him. And he's pulled himself into a really nice eco lead. Definitely shaky, though. Compared to what I know is possible from Nicov, definitely shaky. That is not something that is necessarily new to him. There are days where sometimes you can tell he's hyper-focused on aggression and doesn't really focus at home too much. And that is just, I think, the nerves of the situation coming into play. You see that with other players, too. But I think getting the win will calm the nerves. And then, ideally, you're able to play a little bit stronger in the future games. And, I mean, this is just... I don't see a way back for Babaorum right now. And Nicov is going to let him know that there is no way back for you. And he's going to drop a castle. And the game is called. Nicov wins the first game, perhaps as expected after all those demos. Was a pretty wild game. Nicov demoing Babaorum multiple times. I do wonder, because the eco, like the res collected was so close for a while there in feudal. I wonder if Babaorum added his own dock, what happens? Like, maybe the archers don't make it over. But I also think that the reason he maybe didn't have a lot more is because of the fact that he had to invest into the longswords in feudal age. Supplies and longsword and all those units, it's pretty costly. And that could explain why he didn't really have the setup to go for much more. I like the fact Armenians have that. I think it's situational. Maybe he tried to force it a little too much. But he might feel like he needs a lot more against Nicov today. Look at the difference in the food. Against Chinese? against Chinese, he collected 3,000 more food, but he was well behind in everything else. GG there. Nicov takes game 1. All right. Game 2, Burgundians, Hindustanis. Both these civs should be so freaking sick here. We have seen more of the Hindustanis. The Hindustanis have a really nice win rate for this tournament. And I'm beginning to like them more and more. I remember I was kind of judgy about the Hindustanis the first couple of days of casting at NAC 5. They weren't getting wins. It wasn't really clicking for me, but the more I see it, the more I get it. Great economy with the cheaper villagers. The stable units are really strong. Great gunpowder later on in the game. And I think being able to boom, being able to counter your opponent reasonably, and then also having great late game tech, I think it can work out well for them. Can be tricky at times. The Burgundians, yet I think we'll see the Civ more, especially once we have best of 7s. Obviously, we're going to see more Civs because there will be more games played, right? And the draft will be a bit different. But yeah, eco upgrades and age earlier. The main thing with this Civ is if there's walls, if there's protection, it's insane. And here you have to build those walls and build that protection. But this is a really nice map here for Nicov. Thank you, Cassius, for the 7 months. His nice marketing skills got me. All right, awesome. Awesome. How else can I market? Did you... Nicov! Okay, sorry, that's not marketing. Nicov almost lost the villager to a rhino, though. And that was really scary for me. Did you know that if you got Twitch Prime, you could connect it with the old Twitcher thing? Subscribe for free? Let's see how this works. Not my best work. That was weird. That was how I think marketing people sound. But yeah, it's pretty bad. Nope. Not even a sympathy one. Actually, on a serious note, I am going to mention this because I need to mention it more because the tickets won't be on sale forever. If you're in the U.S. Or wish to come, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, we'll have the live viewing party of the main event of Hidden Cup 5. We'll have the 3rd place match, the grand final, the big reveal, and then I will be there. Come meet you guys, sign autographs, and have some cool stuff there for you. Your food, your drink, your various assortment of alcohol, and your seat, everything included with the ticket. So... we do have a pinned comment about that if you wish to join. Now, honestly, Hardy, I think maybe the UK one is sold out at this point, so we might not be able to... Just keep that in mind, I guess, if you're looking at the UK one, but still have tickets on sale for the US. We've been getting a few every day, as I mentioned it, but I got a call on that later on today to make sure it's the best experience possible. Just check it out. Join the Discord if you have questions, all right? So wall's coming up for Nicov, pushing in all of his deer. This is a bit more difficult for him, though, than Arena Game, because he's investing villager time and resources into walls. Behind this, Babaorum, he's clicked up, and he's going to go for scouts. And I like this decision. Even if you can't break through, I think you can get some nice value with the Hindustanis here, so... Hank says, Fort Lauderdale, just Miami for old people, question mark. Fort Lauderdale's not for old people. There's a lot of, like, areas. Like, you don't have to travel too far in Florida to find an area that's like, okay, a lot of people retire here, right? But Fort Lauderdale is basically Miami, but it's not as scary. Fort Lauderdale's great, I think. Like, I avoid Miami as much as I can, personally. But I've been there a couple times. I mean, it's still fun, but it's just a little too much. Scout here will be feudal age here in 8 seconds for Babaorum. He'd love nothing more than to hit Nikov's scout, but Nicov, he's just going to fall back behind these walls. And now Nicov, economically, is in feudal age, right? That's what's wild. He's in feudal, but he's in dark age because he's Burgundians. And then Babaorum has gone up, and he's going to get his feudal age upgrades that Nicov already has. So we'll see how it goes. Stables there. Now the Hindustanis do more damage against their buildings, or against enemy buildings with their stable units. So I wouldn't mind to see like maybe 2 scouts here or something, just to pester Nicov, and then you can still use the scouts later on. But what Baba didn't see is gold being anywhere close to this. He did actually see all of it. Obviously, Nikov's not taking this one. He'll know Nikov's on this one. So maybe there's a world where he's getting Loom. I think he might go forward. Thinking you don't want to allow the wall player to just sit back sometimes, and you can go forward. I wonder, maybe there's another reason he got Loom and I missed it. I mean, Loom is an upgrade you want to get at some point, so it's not that big a deal, but still. Thank you, Noah, for the Prime. Thank you, Saint, for the Prime. And thank you, Dr. Patrick, for the Prime. Glad to know that I can embarrass myself like that, and it still works. Thank you. So this is what I mean. That's 2 scouts. And that house has gone down pretty quickly, so I don't mind the 3rd scout. Maybe even the 4th, but then at that point, I think you just have to cool it, save your food, think about Castle Age. I just don't know. It's like every time I've seen this feudal pressure against the... man, this house, though. The feudal pressure against the fast castle play, the fast castler has been able to make a difference with the faster Castle Age in some way. But there's Nicov stable. Nicov may feel like he has to add a spear here or something. And these scouts are just insane. Now, your houses do get a bit stronger in feudal. But still, if it's 1 villager versus 4 scouts, I mean, this is actually realistic. Unlike other civilizations where 1 villager with a hammer can outgun a bunch of knights. But that house is going to go down. And Nicov now has to pull 2 vills. So now, if your opponent never changes the situation, they still have 2 villagers repairing the entire time. They're losing wood, and they're losing 2 villager working time. Whereas at home, all your villagers are working. And Nicov will want to click up here. Nicov just missing the resources. Nicov will click up, and there he goes. Well, if you make 1 spear, the scouts kill it. So making the spear is actually not an option. You could make 2 spears, but then you've added 2 spears, and they can just run away from it and attack another area. So, like, 1 spear dies to 4 scouts, as long as Babaorum's paying attention. Now, maybe you or I will be distracted, right? And then we look back, and then all of our scouts are dead. We've all been there, right? But obviously, Babaorum's got nothing else to do, and he's an insanely high-level player, so he would just kill the spearman, no problem. Nicov has still collected a lot of resources. Something that I like from Nicov is the fact that he actually left his base with his scouts, or his scout, and he's now scouting the map. And he's going to add more scouts here. Let's see. Damage from the scouts. Does Capture Age tell us? Damage dealt. 4,000 damage. If he does 800 more damage against this house, he will have done enough damage to take out a castle. Kind of funny when you look at it that way. Now, I want to know how much wood was invested into repairing. Because that's different, right? I wish I had that stat. I don't think I have that available. So, I do have something I can tease for you guys on the topic of stats if you would like. So, Capture Age will be updated for Hidden Cup 5. And you know how at the end of the game, in Capture Age right now, when the game ends, it pops down and it says most created unit for a player? So, I've always liked that stat. But my issue with the stat is sometimes the most created unit at the end of a game is not the most important unit. Or like, so let's say it's a big monk war on Arena, right? Monks for like the first hour. And then it turns into like a skirm war and Trebs or something. And then 100 monks were made by one player during the game. But then 101 skirms were made. And then it just shows 101 skirms, most created unit. And then the storyline is not actually this is nice from Nicov. He went for husbandry here. So his scouts are faster and Babaorum has to delay. Nice job from Baba to add the spear. But anyways, I like to have the option to see the other created units, right? I think it'd be cool. So we're going to have that for Hidden Cup 5. We'll have the top 3 created units, most likely. And then we can kind of look through the list, and I think it tells the better story of the game. So I'm pretty excited to have that. There are some other things we're working on, but I think that'll be good to have. So second TC on the way here for Baba. We've got the third TC as well. Resources collected is dead even. KD, just 1 kill, and it was literally just that spearman that was killed a moment ago. Gold is towards the center, and players will want to get out there eventually. But for now, that's not the case. And Nicov will see camels, and this is a big reason why the Hindustanis are strong. These camels will eat those light cav alive. So, but Nicov able to just run past them and get out of here. That's a good point. Someone said, wouldn't it have been better to attack the stable because they then spend more to repair it? I didn't think about that. But then it's less likely you go through, so it's less likely they repair it in the first place, right? I think it's kind of a tricky thing. Obviously, when you have like a bigger army, then you want to be attacking the bigger building there. More eco behind this for Babaorum. At some point, Nicov may need to consider... Oh boy, Wolf Rush. At some point, Nicov may need to consider going for pikemen. Okay, Babaorum, send the spear to the gold. You saw he's building a TC. Send the spear to the gold and delete it. Woo, 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 woo. And Nicov, that doesn't help you, bro. So Nicov kills the spear, but what gold is Nicov going to go to? I think Babaorum was going to send it there anyways. Right next to the gold. That'll be a pain later on. And that is TC number 3 for Nicov, by the way. So he's just now adding his third. His good eco upgrades. He's got monks. He got 1 relic. I'm sure he'd like more. But that's easier said than done. Babaorum will aim to get this relic towards the middle. He's already on stone. And I could see him thinking about a castle in the middle. I think castle here and then TC here could be really good. But I'm not even sure a 4th town center is worth it. Maybe it is. I think you need imp as fast as possible if you're going for the castle. And if you're Hindustanis, because you really want their gunpowder range. I didn't add their elos on screen here, guys. Nikov's 2k6. Babaorum's 2k5. But, like, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of you guys are like, what? This guy's 2k5? I barely know anything about him. Because he's not as active. Oh, God. Okay, well, wolves are now chasing Babaorum now. Wolves shouldn't end up getting a kill. They only attack camels. They don't attack scouts. So the weak scouts in here should be okay. And scout just went down to the TC. And, well, this is nice of Babaorum to clear this up for Nicov. And Nicov over here with a couple Lykev just trying to prevent relics from coming in. And there's a relic on the way in right now. What elo am I? I'm 2k3. My peak is 2k4. These guys would slap me all over the place. The level's been insane. So 2 relics for both soon. I think Nikov's got a relic coming in. Nice protection there. Here, Nicov, I think, just killed a villager building the house wall. Not that big a deal at this point. Eco's looking pretty close, but we've got a lot more stone in the bank for Babaorum. Look how many villagers he's got on stone. Those villagers might come here soon. And we are maybe ramping up here for quite an engagement soon, where monks will aim to convert the camels. And these camels need to take care of any light cav. Villagers not getting converted. Nicov must feel so annoyed right now. And he's probably thinking, like, how do I engage against this? This is why a lot of players will drop the second barracks and try and go pikes. But Nikov's thinking, I'm going to go for sheer numbers of light cav. And he's going to go cavalier against camel? Well, you know what? Right now, I think Babaorum thinks I've got control over this game. I'm going to tie up this series. I've got the position on this guy. So all I need to do is make sure I secure the rest of the map. But Nicov is out here. And Babaorum, I think, understanding that he hasn't seen much in a while from Nicov, is a little concerned. I love this from Nicov. I love the fact that he has come out here like this. This is so good. This is so smart. And now, he can maybe leave his base. That is a great find for Nicov, but there are enough camels. Babaorum can still aim to build a castle. Does he commit to still trying to build that castle where he initially placed it, though? Very boomy game here. Compared to the first game was very chill. Atonement for Nicov. He's going to convert that monk. Yeah, converts the monk. There go the Vills. They should still complete this. Cavalier's wild to me when you're seeing camels. I mean, it's stronger than Light Cav. I think Nikov's thinking was, I need more than what I have to push the camels. And Cavalier do way better than Light Cav against the camels. It is still just kind of an open invitation to the Hindustani players to make camels. And Babaorum will have seen the Cavalier there too. I don't like how exposed this area is for Babaorum. I think like maybe some stone walls could be good. A TC there, but he's up. Now, what this has allowed Nicov to do is move forward and drop a castle. We have devotion for Babaorum, and the castle's up, and Nikov's got to be like, wait, what? But the timing was perfect. Is honestly just perfect. Perfect's the best way to say it. Imp time's been great. 3 relics versus Nikov's 2. Burgundians are normally really good at contesting for that. And if Nicov is planning on taking gold here, Babaorum's outpost is going to spot that castle, and we'll be able to make Trebs soon. Needs to back away, needs to back away, needs to back away. Oh, but the Light Cav ran through. Very stressful times. Nicov has atonement. Babaorum went too far forward. But the scouts go in. The scouts will kill the monk. And yeah, Babaorum's okay with that. He's not okay with Nicov being back in his base, though. Yeah. Like I said, like, I think sometimes players just don't do the tiny little stuff right. Just like some stone walls and a gate here would have been fine. But in the end, this will get cleared up. Nicov killed some Vills, though. Well played to him. And there's not really much for Nicov to raid. There's not really much for Nicov to hit right now. It's going to be hard. But I love the fact that Nicov has forced this idle time. Might not seem like a big deal, but villagers not going back to work now. This is a product of the raid. These villagers running all around and having to decide on the next move. All product of the raid. Harder to balance your economy if you have the threat of being raided. Nicov with his second castle, 2 minutes off from Imp. Excuse me. We are going to have Babaorum, though, researching heavy camel, which normally it takes so long. So you're just thinking, can he get it? But he's going to get it. And not only is he going to get that, he's going to get chemistry. And he has prepped archery ranges to go for gunpowder. And this is what the Hindustanis really wait for. This stage of the game. This is the final series in rounds 2. I saw someone confused. It's still round 2. This is the final series in round 2. We will have round 3. I think we have a day off tomorrow because no one's scheduled. And then we have round 3 day after. Constant games. What is better? Gunpowder and heavy camel? Or like pikeman cavalier? I think it's going to be paladin because the stable upgrades are cheaper for Nicov. He's already decided to go cavalier. You got to just click paladin too. And now, I actually wouldn't mind you just take it back. No, I was going to say I wouldn't mind just going to 2 trebs and calling it quits. That's stupid. You get to 4 trebs, and then you think about conscription. Then you think about the extra range on the gunpowder research. Still kind of exposed in different areas. Like, if Nicov really feels like he can't contest the middle, this is an area he could hit. And those upgrades have flown in here for Babaorum. He's already making gunpowder as we speak, including a bombard cannon. You see what I mean about this guy, though? Like, he's so clean and, like, crisp. He doesn't really have a lot of, like, crazy micro moments, Babaorum, but he's just super consistent. Basically, he is what you want to be as an Age of Empires player. If you don't have, like, the crazy speed that some of the real talents have. Not saying he's slow, right? Like, no, not saying that at all. But the timings on everything has been really good. Like, Nikov's Boy, he's been seen as a crazy aggressive player. Obviously, Gold Rush also isn't a crazy aggressive map in the early game. Here goes the scouts. There goes the scout over there. This castle for Nicov could go down. What do you do if you're Nicov? How do you break this? This is just perfect play from the opponent. Nicov might be regretting Cavalier right now. And, I mean, that's kind of the big standout for me because that also kind of delays the Imp a bit, too, when you do that. These units cost the same resources that it would cost to go up to the Imperial Age. So let's see how Nicov tries to get himself out of this pickle here. This is where his gold's being taken. Baba's just going to treb the mining camp. Might actually hit some villagers as well, which would be kind of funny. Nicov will now make a new mining camp. That is how Nicov is going to get gold from here, apparently. Nicov loses the mining camp. The bombard cannon snipes a treb. That's nice. Imperial camel now on the way for Babaorum, who clearly feels like he's not maxed out yet, and he doesn't want to overextend. Oh, man, that was so close. That bombard cannon for Nicov stays alive. He needs more tiny moments like that. Imp Camel still 40 seconds off. There's not that much gunpowder here, actually. There could be more, but there's a hill for Babaorum, and he backs up to it, a little terrified. And Nicov, with the bombard cannon micro, could take out the trebs, could take out the hand cannons. And if a lot of these camels die before Imp Camel is in, this could be bad for Nicov. But the castle will still stand. Imp Camel will come in. There's more and more army on the way for Babaorum. And now that Imp Camel's in, Imp Camel can even beat these numbers. And Nicov just ran directly into counter units there. Just straight up that hill. Never really had a plan to try and break the Hindustanis here. We have ourselves a 1-1. So again, Nicov the big name. Nicov an incredible talent. But if you watch the first game and you saw how shaky certain aspects were, even though Nicov won, and then you look at this, depending on this draft, and depending on some of these strategies that these players have in mind, this could absolutely go to 5 games. And the pressure is on, folks. Let's go. Res collected there. Burgundians typically dominate in that regard. Babaorum did not let that happen. He actually had more wood and food eco than the Burgundians, which is just crazy. Golden Stone, of course, was slightly ahead there for Nicov, but long term, he would have never had as much gold. So my thing in this game was the Cavalier. I get why Nicov did it, and I explained why Nicov did it. But when it was primarily camel from his opponent, I think pikemen with his monks to take map control and never allow this castle is the key. If Babaorum places a castle here, yeah, okay. He places the castle here. He still gets the gunpowder. He still is in a good spot. But he doesn't have the middle. And then you are a bit more free on your side of things as well. But the Cavalier accomplished nothing. As an expensive unit that simply gets countered by the camels that were already out in the field. Maybe he thought Babaorum wouldn't make as many because it would be... It's like a double mind game, right? Like, it's so obvious that I should never make knights. So that means my opponent will never make camels. So let's make knights. Maybe it was that. Anyways, 1-1. Game 3 here. Good old Babaorum. We've got Khmer for Babaorum here. I'm very curious to see how he utilizes the house bonus here. Because if you can hop in and out of the houses, it feels like this is an area you could maybe take advantage of a little bit more. Some players don't want to take that risk. And then we've got Nicov playing as the Byzantines. The old, reliable Byzantines. And, well, Nicov, he already, with his scout, is over here trying to push in this deer, which indicates to me he doesn't want to take any risks. And he may wish to just push in what he can while he can. And then wall up his base. Map is very nice for Babaorum. It does feel like he's got almost an extra wood line back here. Actually, you know what's funny? I actually think it's worse that he has this wood line. It's too much wood. It's too cramped. But in terms of the location of the golden berries, it's very nice for him. Nicov, obviously a bit more spacious back here. Nicov might want an extra wood line. But that's definitely something I want to look into. It's not a bug, but it is weird, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nikov's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but a lot of it's more spread out. I feel like Nikov's gen is kind of more along the lines of what we want, so we'll look into it. And then, of course, towards the middle is going to be like the extra stones and golds. And that's more of your option in Castle Age. A lot of players like to expand towards the sides, and there's good reason to do that. But, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Because we've seen games with crazy castle drops and plays through the middle. Dogao and Andre, lots of plays through the middle. And then we've seen players not really play through the middle at all and just play to the side. So, which is part of what I like about the map. Heart, I don't have the changelog fully memorized, but yeah, this, like I said, this is something I think consistency is kind of the key, right? So the fact that there's a little bit of extra wood here for Baba and not for Nicov, we'll want to look into a bit. And I mean, if you were to think about what the civs would want and how the civs play out, Nikov's civilization, I think, can struggle a little bit more with a more open map, whereas the Khmer could thrive. So if the roles were reversed with these maps, this would be insane for Byzantines. We'll see how the Khmer take advantage of this. Obviously, players are going to wall up anyways, right? So Nicov not wanting to build a mill on any of these side areas. This is common. I'm toying with the idea for the main event of making slight tweaks to this, maybe adding an extra shorefish here. I feel like an extra 200 foot incentivizes more mills. Then again, it's like we're going to have 13 maps. Maybe I shouldn't be touching qualifier maps. I don't know. There's some things in my brain going on. I quite like the fact that sometimes players do it and other times players don't, though. I think that is actually a good thing. It is meant to be an option. It is not meant to be a must-have. But I saw Khmer, and so I said, we're going to see a house up here. And Babaorum's going to take the risk, and that's exactly what he's done. And Babaorum's been scouting Nikov's base, making a lot of informed decisions, right? So he knows about the wood situation. He knows about the golds. He knows about the stones. He also can tell that Nicov has been pushing in some deer, and Nicov is not over here. So Babaorum playing the map kind of as designed in some ways, right? And he'll be up here in no time. Probably to go for scouts, but could always be archers. Move the Ibex back so they can't push them in. Nah, I think pushing them in is good. Like, even if you push in 2, you're still leaving 600 food out here, right? So it's still, you know, you're getting something, right? The thought process here from Nikov's approach is farming is a sure thing, and I'm not taking any risks. Now, this is where it gets fun, is because the deer pusher doesn't know what the opponent was doing. I do wonder, if you see your opponent scout you early, though, and you've been pushing your own deer, do you then know, as Babaorum is blocking Nikov's barracks foundation and being a pain, do you then know that your opponent's taking the sides with a mill? Is that something players will assume? I don't know. Nicov doesn't have any decisions he can really make based on his opponent's map, though, because Valley played it. And I'm sure Nicov wasn't too happy about the fact that his barracks has had to be placed here. Actually, this is an awful barracks until this bush is taken. Because the villagers have to walk all the way around. I mean, you know, it's not the end of the world, but... Okay, Nicov up in the next stage. So is Babaorum. Slightly different times. Baba just had some idle time. And now Nikov's going to see this map, and he's going to be like, whoa, this is really good for him. I might have my work cut out for me to do pressure there. Byzantines aren't normally doing any type of pressure, though. Now, Nicov did not see a mill. So that should tell Nicov to check this location, and this is an area he can pressure. I think it's going to be really cool to see Babaorum react to this. So Nicov didn't actually go in that... He didn't actually go too close to the villagers. I wonder if Baba realizes. And look at Nicov. So every time Khmer are being played, players are always trying to push them with scouts and spears. Because Khmer like to skip the barracks and they can't add their own spears. And I think, you know, we've just seen instances where you just kind of need to have some spearmen out. Otherwise, this is going to be a pain for you. And Nicov wasting no time. He just runs right over here. And he's actually going to use the units here to even kill the deer, which is nice. And these vills are now exposed. And Baba's got to get home. It actually shoots the deer with the villager. So now you can eat it. But if a spearman kills the deer, guys, you still can't eat it. Which is kind of funny. Here comes Babaorum here with scouts. Nicov sent all of his spears forward. And so Nicov doesn't have spears at home. Crazy! Look, Nicov reminding me like an AI right now. Just streaming everything forward. Reckless abandon. And he defends himself at home. It is necessary if you are going to go this aggressive that you do that. But look at that from Babaorum. The little whoop right into the houses. And that is so well played. And that is Khmer. So I think he would have wanted more food from up here. But after his opponent showed up, he was just able to go right into the house and out. That is precisely what he wants the Civ for. And now Nicov, who wanted to be aggressive, can't really get too much damage done. I just feel as though Nicov is going to have a tough time expanding to some of these later resources because of how Babaorum has played this. Like, every slopes game I've seen, if you're not going for the early walls like Babaorum has done, what you're doing instead is you are just kind of defending your own walls and playing safe. But Nikov's got so aggressive here. I actually think, with how crazy he's played it, I wonder what a forward tower would do here. He's made so much army. I thought he was just going to go, like, scouts himself, make some spears, and then transition towards the next stage. Nice job here from Babaorum so far. Res collected's even. He can't really engage against this because of the presence of spearmen, right? But he's got plenty of farming eco behind. He's used this map very well. And Nicov, not walling up, would have more to do if he were to try and wall up. Heads over to gold, so we might even see archers now. Can military units go into houses with Khmer? No, but kings can. Fun fact. There's no regicide in Hidden Cup, but that's a tip for you, MBL, in your rounds against Capotch anyways, all right? Poor MBL! But, I mean, maybe it'll die down at some point. Only one kill in the game. It was just the scout that we saw somewhere, right here. And range is up behind this for Babaorum as he thinks about the Castle Age. Nicov also thinking about Castle Age. Res collected still really close. Nicov has not taken any losses to these attacks. And he must be looking at this right now thinking like, what more could I have been expected to do to break this guy? But usually, we've seen a lot of variety in the openings, but it's usually in Castle Age is where things really start to heat up on slopes. I think that's why Byzantines are picked in the first place. Nicov will get his walls down here. Nicov will be up very shortly. That villager's exposed and Nicov realizes it. Someone says T90 versus AR-12 Regicide. I did run my king into a town center on a Regicide Nomad game. I'm not the person to make jokes. Because when I played against Lix in the Open Classic, my king hit, it was just like, my king hit Lix's castle, but it didn't die. Because it takes 2 volleys, and mine, I realized after the first volley. So that was, and then I ended up winning the game in series. It was actually pretty incredible. And then in a smaller tournament, I played against a player named AR-12, and it was Pilgrims. So, the community game map, Pilgrims. And I was scouting with my king on the mainland and just ran right into his TC. So yeah, I learned some lessons too. Nice job from Babaorum adding his own skirms with the scouts. This villager's weak. I like how Nicov ran in here to see what his opponent is doing. And he might even be able to escape as well. Based on how this opening has played out, this game has been 5 times harder than Nicov, for Nicov, sorry. And, oh, man, it's not going to get any better. Oh, man, he almost had the walls down. He almost had the walls down, loses a Vil. Not too bad, though. Could have been worse for him. And he'll be up with Byzantines. And now it's like, as long as this army doesn't get any more value... Usually, if this army doesn't get any more value, once you're making camels, you're fine here in Nikov's position. And the villagers just barely holding there. Yeah, Nicov will have camels. And camels should be great against the Lycav, should be great against the skirms. Look at this from Babaorum. Already building this TC on the left-hand side. Love that TC. But he's going to have to avoid these camels out here. Nicov drops TC towards the middle. Makes sense, right? Nicov does not have as much vision and scouting control on the sides right now because he's in a more defensive position. Babaorum killing a deer. Excuse me. Babaorum headed to the right-hand side to see if Nicov is over there. Because he will actually know this is the stone side. This is the gold side for Nicov. I would like to see one unit just left over here in these situations. Now, guys, what do you do as Babaorum against 6 spearmen and 7 camels? As Khmer. Scorpions, maybe? I think eventually you can go scorpions. I think right now, you just hope to avoid everything. You just boom... You convert what you can, and you avoid everything. But look at Nicov. Scouted this side. With that very weak scout, so he knows his opponent doesn't have a TC over there. He also knows about the monastery. God, these guys are so good. These guys are so good. Again, Nikov's starting base, definitely not the best. So well played to him to make sure he's been able to get to this position. I prefer the Byzantines here. That scout trying to survive will survive. Camels have pushed this away. Res collected. Khmer 1,000 resources ahead. That's probably because of the farming. I think Nikov's wood situation is really bad too. And he drops a TC here. Oof. Okay. So Nicov building his TCs towards the middle. And I think there's 2 parts to it. I think one part of it is he is very scared of the sides because of the amount of mobility out there from the opponent. Okay? And the other aspect of it is, with Byzantines, if you can get onto stone and get a forward castle down, it is just completely nightmarish for anyone on the other side of that. So, I like the positioning for Nikov's TC. Protects some wood, protects the very open part of his base. And here he is. He's going to find a monk and kill a monk and advantage Nicov. Well played. Babaorum's got the right idea. Nicov even patrolling this weak scout. This scout has seen so much this game. And it's going to patrol there on that relic. So Babaorum sends a monk out there and isn't paying attention. It could be a problem. Nicov backs away, keeps his camels on his side. Now he also is going to go for a monastery. 1-1. Level seems very close. And this is to move on to the 3rd round. It would be... I know I'm hyping up this Frenchman here, but let's be honest. This would hurt Nicov, man. This would hurt Nicov. He's been in every Hidden Cup. He may have had some very unfortunate run-ins bracket-wise in previous Hidden Cups because of the random bracket, right? Facing up against Viper in round 1 is a memory I have. Then I think he might have faced up against Viper in round 1 twice, actually, throughout Hidden Cup career. And then, before Hidden Cup 4, Nicov messaged me and said, I swear to God, if I get Viper in round 1, I am flying to Florida and slapping you. Now, don't worry, there's no drama here. He said that as a friend. And then the random bracket draw gave him Leary in the 1st round, which technically was not Viper. And so I did not get slapped, which is good. But the point is Nicov he's always been a part of Hidden Cup. It's always been things, there's always been a discussion. We're always looking for this player who's performing so freaking well and is so consistent. And in 2024, there's other names who are being able to mount the challenge against names that used to just be a sure thing. But I said when I looked at this group that Nicov was winning the qualifying best of 7. And right now, Babaorum is giving me reasons to think that I might be wrong. He's playing so good. And just not making mistakes. Like, he is making Nicov fight for this. Also, that scout just killed a monk earlier. That is the remnants of a dead monk from that scout from Nicov. Super sick play. They both are on stone. I'm a little surprised. I understand, like, Nikov's thought process. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen a single TC on the sidewood. It feels very natural to do that now. You have vision. I like the outposting. I like what he can see here. That will be important for him. Babaorum will not like that the Byzantines have all that vision. But what Nicov does not see is that there is a second range, that there is a crossbow commitment, and he does not know how much army Babaorum is about to make. We are about to... Okay, he knows now. We are about to have a big, big play here in Castle Age from Babaorum. He's making more knights. He's making more crossbows. And Nicov realizes this is a problem. And so he's going to drop towers everywhere. Guard tower defense for Nicov. Fascinating stuff. Also still is a monk over here. So forget about a castle from Nicov. What does Babaorum do? Does he want a forward castle here? Look at this army, guys. He's bringing villagers. He wants the forward castle. Nicov needs siege now. Because the towers protect from crossbow raids. The towers do not protect from a castle drop. Oh, man. The confidence to want to do this. The positioning of that is huge. If that goes up, Nicov will eventually lose this TC. It's also so risky to go forward castle against Byzantines. Because Byzantines do have the cheaper Imperial Age. And there he goes. Light cav move. Light cav move. Light cav move. Light cav move. This is actually bad. This is really bad. Crossbow move. Crossbow move. Oh my god. What is happening? Build it! Build it! Build it! Free everyone! This is a build zone. Oh my god! Now Nicov has built a house there. Please. What's happening? People. Build. Oh my. What the? Oh my god! Thank you! Everything just keeps walking over the foundation. And now Nikov's got a mangonel on the way. This could deny the castle. I do not know what was happening there. Big shot. Big shot could happen. Good micro from Babaorum. He will kill the siege. He will complete his castle. And he will beat the Byzantines to the Imperial Age. Crazy stuff. Oh, man. How do you beat the Byzantines to the Imperial Age? How do you... That's his MTC. Nicov! Nicov, 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 no! Okay. He might have chance to realize he is Byzantines. So the chance that that TC stays up is pretty high. It is going to be shot by this castle. Nikov's got a nice Vil lead. He is expanding to the south in a panic, but he's expanding to the south. He can win the Trebor with the Byzantines. He still could be okay. Okay, Imp is going to be fine. If anything, it's actually better to have that as the MTC. Because these TCs can send villagers to the proper tasks. Guys, what a play from Babaorum. Forward castle like that. And we'll see what he goes into. It feels like he's going to stick with the same army comp. It feels like it's going to be Arbalest and Cavalier. And Nicov has misclicked. I think he wanted Guard Tower, and he has misclicked Fortified Wall, which would upgrade stone walls to fortified walls. That is not the tech Nicov wants. The pressure is getting to him right now. And that is also not... I mean, it's a way... It is spending resources on something that does not benefit you. Big shot, maybe. Oh, Nicov, look at these walls. He will not let these knights escape. Oh, man, the plays from Nicov. He might research fortified wall by mistake, but you better believe he's going to house wall like a god. And he clears that up. Well played. Nicov will be an imp in 3 seconds. There he is. He drops castle number 2. This gets very interesting here, folks, because we've just got one castle from Babaorum. And one castle to win a Trebor against 2 castles when it's Byzantines seems very unlikely. And so now you need the army to control areas of the map that are not in the middle of the map if you're Babaorum. He's got vision on this side. He's building outposts, so he'll know Nicov is unlikely to be here. This is now his area to hit. And I mean, Nicov, who probably is hoping he's his guard tower, he does not have an army or fortifications to protect this area fully right now. But I think it's likely Babaorum loses his castle. And Byzantines can hold on. Byzantines can stabilize. If Nicov did actually have guard tower and 2 guard towers here, it would be such a huge play. The initial towers he placed in a panic weren't necessarily the best. But the tower idea here, really, really smart for Nicov. It's just unfortunate he didn't click guard tower. We're going to see this castle go down for Babaorum. And he's now wondering, what do I do? Where do I go to pressure this guy? Because he's done so much. Arbalest upgrade on the way. His Cavalier will aim to go for the Trebs. Nicov won't allow that to happen. Such good play from Nicov. Right now, the Arbalest are actually a non-factor because they cannot be taking engagements next to these castles. And now Nicov, he wants to go in for the Trebs. Nicov goes in with his camels here. And Nicov is actually running out of stone to repair this castle. Maybe needs to take a Treb. The units aren't really attacking right now. They're just stuck, actually. But I think it's because he clicked the Treb and the villagers were around the Treb. And Nicov does lose a castle. But the castle goes down now for Babaorum, and he doesn't have any more. And this gives Nicov time. If there's ever a time to expand that economy and breathe, this would be your moment if you're Nicov. He'll send camels over this way. He'll find these kills. He's got elite skirm now on the way. He will use his Trebs to probably go for the Trebs from Babaorum. You can see Babaorum realizing, I need backup plan now. Babaorum's got access to so much more gold in the middle of the map. And then also this too. Like, this gold is supposed to be Nikov's. But Byzantines. What a game. It feels like with the level this high and how back and forth this game has been, it feels like the winner of this game, 70-30 shot to win the series, right? I'm sure there's stats on it. It's an obvious thing. Oh, the guy in a best of 5 who goes up 2-1 wins the series more frequently than not. Like, obviously, yeah. But this just feels so close. It feels closer than the first two. This would really mean a lot to whoever wins this. And the skirms for Byzantines, the camels for Byzantines are so cheap, and Nikov's still catching up on upgrades. I mean, if he can get more upgrades, I prefer his army comp. But he's missing quite a few, but he is catching up on them. Babaorum trying to push before the upgrades become a factor here. Look at the difference in the blacksmith upgrades. But Nicov using the skirms all the time to go in for the Arbalest, and the camels are always there. The camels are waiting for the Cav. And Nikov's Trebs, they're against the Trebs from Babaorum. Babaorum seems terrified to engage right now, and I don't blame him. Does he need Halb? Does he need Hussar? Does he need to plan to not waste gold against the Byzantines? I don't know. Nikov's castle here will protect this area. They're both at 190 population right now, guys. But Babaorum starting to lose his arbs. And these camels will clear up the Cavalier as well with these upgrades, I'm sure. Babaorum will try and micro. He's trying, but Nicov is going to clear this fight. He's going to win this engagement. He will keep his Trebs alive. And how on earth has Nicov held from this? There has been so many amazing things from his opponent this game. And Nicov showing his class and showing his quality has somehow held on to this point. Babaorum sent so much pressure to prevent it from getting to this stage. And we have arrived here anyways. Nikov's camels and his skirms are just the perfect comp against what we're seeing. And he still has his siege. Which means this castle and any future castles that may go up for Babaorum to just delay it will likely go down before you think about it. Also, Nicov is heading over here now. And he's gonna try and take some of that gold. That Arbalest has something to say about it, though. And now Nicov can take some resources towards the middle as well. Guys, Khmer have the farming. Khmer can kind of skip some steps. We saw the cool little house maneuver earlier. There's all of that. But when push comes to shove, their army composition is awkward. They have fully upgraded Cavalier, but it's just Cavalier. There's a lot of civs that have stronger Cavalier. They have Halbs, but they don't get full upgrades on the Halbs. They don't have infantry bonuses. They have Arbalest, they lack Thumb Ring. It's just, it is a civ that at its strength is focused on Scorpions and Elephants, and that is usually far too expensive for a 1v1. And yeah, it's just never really realistic. Nicov just dropped a castle here. I mean, that's the way to do it, right? Just drop a castle. You're Byzantines. He now has castles everywhere. Look at these buildings for Nicov. Covering the whole slope here with stables. And guys, we've made our jokes throughout his career, right? About Nikov's eco upgrades and his eco balance. Look at him in 2024. Eco upgrades are amazing. Blacksmith upgrades are incredible. His production's been insane as well. And we know his micro is going to be good. There's never any question. Really well played here from Nicov. Now, this does get a little bit more complicated for him than before, because the Halbs are out. But obviously, as long as the skirms are still in the mix, it should be completely fine. I wouldn't actually mind Nicov even going for Arbalest of his own. Big shots with the bombard cannons! But yeah, some Arbalest of his own actually could be really nice for him. It helps out against those Halbs. And Nicov with the hill. Nicov still with ranged units. Nicov has taken out the TC. He's going to have all this eco to pick from, to raid from Babaorum. And, ooh, well, hold on. The Halbs did their magic. Nice find there for Baba. Not bad. Over here, he's got a castle to protect himself. Hold the phone. Still has gold. Still has food. Though, oh, God. He lost the lumber camp. That's... Oh, geez. Okay. Well, they're walking past the Trebs. Nikov's Trebs are still... This is kind of funny. Nikov's Trebs are just trebbing away at the TC that the villagers are dropping wood off at. There's actually, like, very few lumber camps around here. Okay, villagers are going to attack the Trebs. They're angry. And still the main engagement happens. I think Nikov's going to lose those Trebs there. But still feels like this was a lot of damage. Still feels like Nicov has all the momentum now. And his camels and his skirms and his Halbs are cheap. And he has 3 relics, which should be better off for him in the long run. I don't think he's collected as much gold yet as Babaorum, though, because Babaorum collected a lot more towards the middle. Yeah, Nicov has archers in queue. He probably has the crossbow upgrade in queue as well. But this game isn't over yet, guys, because this expansive eco from our red player here has given him a chance. I think you need Hussar, you need Halb, and you need the occasional Arbalest in the mix. And then you have to hope that you can make it messy and outlast the Byzantines, which is ambitious. If you could really bank up a lot of gold and go for like 30 elite battle elephants, if Nicov doesn't have Halb, that could actually swing the game. But I don't see how you're supposed to be able to realistically get those resources. This camel, by the way, has killed only 1 villager. I was expecting to say 10. It's killed 2 now. And Nikov's got the perfect play. And if you think you've got the game won, you still should be thinking about what ways can I expand my options here. And so he's thinking about the Halb upgrade now, just in case he needs that. Now, like I said, I think making archers is actually great. Yeah, I see his crossbow in queue in that range there, bottom left. So that's not a misclick from Nicov. He will want Arbalest. It's just he had, in order to make more archers and then get the crossbow upgrade, he actually needs to lose units. Like, Babaorum can try and raid, try and find value, but it's going to be so difficult. And the relics are now gone. And Nicov is going to look for this. Regas says, really wish Capture Rate had a relic count somewhere. Maybe a little icon under the age mark. That is at the bottom left, my friend. RELICS relics. It is on screen. Slightly different spot than where you'll see with other people's Capture Rates, but it is there. So there you go. Push continues. I mean, I think Babaorum's got to be having a feeling of, like, what more can I do? And I don't blame him, but it was a great game. And the GG's called. What a win there from Nicov, and what a play from Babaorum. I really hope, for our entertainment anyways, that we get a 5th game out of this, because he played so good. Now, I found it fascinating, like, that 3 to 5 minute window. After Nicov scouted the crossbows are coming, what transpired? Nicov dropped 3 towers immediately when he saw that his opponent was going to have knight crossbow, because he knew he couldn't stop it yet, right? And, but I think the key was he got his castles down and he immediately clicked up to imp. Like, he knew forward castle meant imp, and it's so easy to just get too scared of this, or like to overproduce army and castle and then lose the imp race. It was impressive that Babaorum even tied the imp time, but a great game from Nicov. But that's why people pick Byzantines. Byzantines are just like such a sure thing if you make it to the mid to late game. And we've seen that against many different civilizations. I think especially the Khmer, though. Nicov with more wood and more gold collected. Food count wasn't as high as his opponent, but still was always enough to make his cheap units there. Almost a 2-to-1 KD there for Nicov, and that is the story of the Khmer for you, at least in this matchup. I think another thing I need to say for Nicov, so there was a point before this castle, before these ranges were even up, where Babaorum had an army lead, and he tried to use that army lead to come here. And had he gotten here, it would have been awful for Nicov. But Nikov's tower here, even though it's just a watchtower, funnily enough, when he tried to click guard tower, I think Babaorum realized if I go in there, I could get trapped, and I can't really engage against fortifications. Nicov just made it very uncomfortable for Babaorum to feel like he could go through there. So anyways, GG. So Chinese for Babaorum. I'm going to repeat myself for YouTubers later on. Just pointing out that both players had Chinese on their draft. It was their number 1 pick. And the Chinese have had a very solid win rate. But I think a lot of the win rate for Chinese has also been on Mudflow. The Chinese have always been seen as an amazing civilization on Arabia, though. And that's precisely what we have here. Chinese starting with the extra vills, cheaper text, great options. Their weakness, though, as a civ on Arabia, is at the point that Nicov shines on the other side, and that is early feudal. Nicov is incredibly aggressive. Look for him to do that here to slow down the Chinese. And he's got the Portuguese. There's a very specific thing I think these two civilizations do a very good job at, and that is what we say, what we call a double gold comp. So Portuguese having the cheaper gold units means instead of going like crossbow pikeman or something, or like crossbow skirm, like some civs would do, they actually could go crossbow knight in combination with each other because they just don't spend as much gold on the crossbows and on the knights. And then it also, of course, applies to monks. So, yeah. Nikov's actually going to do the berry build here. So this is very good, or yeah, very good, I guess. You get some wood from taking berries with the Portuguese, and there is a build where you send 4 to berries, and you can still have a really nice scout rush on the back of it. You just basically delay your lumber camp. What this means, though, is it is not going to be any early barrack play from Nicov. So no militia from him, likely no archers. So he could always change that, depending. Yeah, and then Chinese having the cheaper text and just an awesome economy. Also are known for that camel crossbow or knight crossbow combination. So maps seem pretty solid for both of them. The more wallable the map for the Chinese, the better. I could see the walls happening, but you still have to work for it. It's pretty reasonable, though, if you want to wall between your wood lines over time. Nikov's map, pretty solid. Gold here, TC, backstone, lots of wood, gold. I mean, yeah, these Arabia versions. Arabia is open. Arabia is aggressive. It's not the most aggressive version of Arabia ever. And it also isn't the least. Oh, God. It isn't the most closed version ever. Nicov can't find his boar. Nicov cannot find his boar. He thought it might be here. It is actually here. And remember, he pushed in 2 deer. And I wonder if he thinks he's been lamed here. Usually the Chinese wouldn't steal a boar because they are spending their time trying to get as much food as possible. Nikov's going to check this. And he is going to find it. Art says that's a far boar. Is it, though? It's a stealthy boar. Is it that far? I don't know. I think it's unlucky for Nicov because he's scouted so much, right? He's scouted so much so far. And here we go. So, it's not the Hidden Boar Cup. It's Hidden Cup. This does mean Nicov needs to add an extra vill or two. Because he wasn't taking the boar. So, still gets the food, but the food wasn't as fast. In the end, it's not like a crazy fast uptime for him. I do think the eco is going to be very smooth when he makes it to feudal age. And here he comes with the next boar. Babaorum pushing his deer, brought in his boars, has more villagers. I think the perfect Chinese game on Arabia these days is more along the lines of like 15 seconds of TC idle time. But the point that I look at to have like a good start is 25 seconds. So if you have 25 seconds of TC idle time, then you've had a reasonable start with the Chinese. That is expected. And Babaorum will find Nicov. Nicov going for scouts here. Feels like it anyways. Res collected, already ahead for the Chinese. There are 3 bans for each player before the draft. Then they do a hidden free pick. So it is, you pick a civ. Your opponent doesn't get to know what it is till they pick their civ. And then it's revealed. And on this draft and some others, it was revealed to be Chinese as pick number 1 many times when there's been no bans. So, Nicov won with Chinese already on another map. Babaorum has that same option here to maybe tie it up and take it to the 5th game. This villager is stuck. But that is to be expected. T90, where was the question here? Somebody was asking about a meetup. And I saw it and now I missed it. I think the tickets for the UK viewing party are sold out at this point, but you can still check the link and try and join. Babaorum trying to steal these pigs from underneath the TC. And he is going to kill... The TC kills one, and now he steals another one. Continuing the meta of people doing this because TCs are not hitting things like they used to. And that's not bad for Babaorum. He does lose some scout HP, though. And there's the stable now for... Oh, he's not finishing it. He shift queued his vills back to wood or something. He didn't finish the stable on time. It's a little sloppy. Nicov doesn't have a stable yet either, though. I think Nicov might just go spear defense, honestly. It feels like spear defense and walls for Nicov here, which is not what I would want if I'm up against the Chinese. He knows his opponent's going scouts. And no follow-up military building here for Nicov. Wow. Really surprising. Has there been any upsets yet? There have been upsets, but not upsets that I think people would necessarily recognize as one. So the biggest upset so far in the quali was a 2K2 player named Antagonist. Who's a Russian player. Beat Rapard, who's a 2K5 player. And the thing that made that an upset was their elos are 300 elo apart. So it was 2200 elo against 2500 elo. But then also in the first game, like Rapard was completely destroying him. And Antagonist came back and won through all-in eagles. He was 25 vills behind, 1 town center against 3. And he was Incas, and he had 5 barracks and just spammed eagles like crazy on Quarry. It was crazy. I didn't cast the series, but I did watch it all. And even the Mudflow game was nuts. Like, this guy lost 12 vills and killed 1 in feudal and then 1 in Castle Age. With knights. Just because he hit Castle Age 2 minutes faster and killed everything with knights. It was crazy. Nicov. Under pressure here. And he's going to have archers, but I mean, this is... It just hasn't really been the cleanest game for Nicov thus far. And he hasn't been able to pressure the Chinese in a way where they struggle at all, right? Like, just standard archer opening, I feel, is one of the worst things against Chinese, personally, because they're going to have a great food eco, and they could so easily switch to skirms, and it also gives them time to wall. But then again, trying to match them in the scout war is tough, too, and we'll see. Yeah, so here's what's confusing. So here's the whole thing, the thing I just told you. The antagonist guy that I mentioned is not Lan, if you remember Lan. And yes, there was a period where Lan, the Spanish player who did not play in this event, tried to call himself the antagonist, and then he stopped calling himself the antagonist, and now everyone calls him Lan. But then some people remember that he called himself the antagonist, so then they say, wait, that must be Lan. But it's not Lan. It's this guy who named himself the antagonist who's from Russia. Okay? That's the whole story. I can understand the confusion. But yeah. And then you've got people who, you know, big important game. They're not even playing on their main account. So Fire was playing on an account named Gordo. You know, then you've got like Lix. Lix is known as Lix, but then his name is Ema. And I'm thrilled. But it's all right. We understand it. Nice micro from Nicov. Man, this is maybe my opinion on the Archer opening is because I constantly forget how nerdy Nicov is with his micro. And Nicov will be able to advance forward pretty soon here. It seems very similar to the start of the previous game, where he's just like happy to do the small wall, but I'm still seeing quite a bit of idle time. These walling villagers haven't gone back to work. This villager. And I look over here and I just see a flowing eco right now for Babaorum. But Nicov is being annoying and attacking the farm. If his farm is attacked, the farmer will not farm. He just stands there. And some people get annoyed by that, but I think it's an important mechanic to the game because it punishes more defensive play, and it's, you know, like the Age is already somewhat a defensive game. I think if you don't have army to protect a couple farms, well, you might as well make some new farms. So I actually think it's good for balance, even though it's kind of silly. Where's this guy going? Where's this guy going? Hello? Scouts from Babaorum don't get through. Nicov sells some of his res, clicks up. Nicov will have 7 archers, maybe around... Well, he has 7 archers now. Maybe he'll have more when he makes it to Castle Age. But it's a 3-0 KD for Nicov. Res collected for Babaorum because he's had the breeziest start. Looking much better. Here's the Chinese. Do you think full archer play is even viable in Castle Age right now? I don't think full anything and only anything is viable in Castle Age with any unit right now. I think we are at a point where players are constantly combining multiple things. Right? Like archers, like it's either monks or siege being combined, knights and camels. I think people are, like, it's all about varied army comps in some ways. But I think your question was because of the regrouping with the archers, right? And I think I get why people are a bit more uncomfortable to play archers, but like the regroup affects other things a little bit as well. I still think crossbow play has great timings. I still think it can be good, but it's like, it's not straight crossbow play. Dawn, and I'm so happy that the meta doesn't seem to be this right now, where it's like crossbow, fast ballistics, make nothing else. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. I hate that crap. I think it was the worst era of Arabia ever. So I hope we're beyond that. And, you know, what we're going to see here is an example of this. We have crossbow on the way. And then we're going to have skirm in response. But then Nicov has a stable to mix in a knight in front. The concern for Nicov is the same I've had before. The eco setup isn't great, right? His approach has not threatened Babaorum at all. And Babaorum, with an amazing economic civ, just drops down the TCs. Now, he doesn't have any of his stones, which could be a problem later on. But he definitely has the lead economically right now. Yeah, I don't really want to get into... It's also really tricky, right? Because there's different versions of Arabia, right? Like King of the Desert Arabia was very different in meta because of how open it was. I don't want to go too down the rabbit hole as far as talking balance. And then, you know, there's balance changes and map versions. This is a mixed map tourney too. And the maps are all very different than, say, like NAC 5, and then there's 3ville and 9ville and all this stuff. But anyways, to answer your question, I do think crossbow is absolutely a unit that you should mix into your army. And I think here Nicov could push forward with his crossbows, but he doesn't seem to feel comfortable doing so just yet. Seems very scared. Because he saw skirms, but he never saw elite skirm out there. Now, he did just see a siege workshop. That's not the first time Nicov in this series has sent forward a weak scout to find something. Seeing that is actually really helpful for him. But you think of the things that you typically have against crossbows. You either have +2 armor on the knights, not in yet. Elite skirm and Bodcanero. Both those things aren't in yet. The siege can do it, but Nicov had time to maybe push a timing here. I think he does not realize the economic approach that Babaorum has taken here. Babaorum almost like faked him out a little bit. Still Nicov is waiting. 2 TCs for him, but the eco upgrades are not as good, and I'm just not seeing anything that's going to make me think this situation will change unless Nicov moves forward. Knights on the way. We'll see the skirms. So now he's like, oh, he's not an elite skirm. He's on siege. Now he might feel a little bit more confidence. Now he might feel a little less confidence because Babaorum just swooped in there and killed a villager. Nice job from Baba. Nicov can't really see the back of his opponent's base. And now Nicov will start to move forward. If you have a sub, we have the nerd emote. And that's of me. I'm not really the... I tell myself I'm not a nerd, but you know how that goes. But in terms of the micro here, Nikov's going to have to go full micro nerd over the next couple minutes here. Because if he takes good trades with his siege against the siege of his opponent, he can absolutely start to get something going here. But if he loses his siege, it might be tough for him to break through. And whoa. Baba. I mean, he's probably used to Nicov not pushing out at this point. He's actually going to try and run through here. I think he wants to place a house there for vision over the stones. And, well, you found out your opponent's there. Just loses 1 vill, though. Adding more stables. Yeah, he definitely wants that stone. And this is the type of... This is what Nicov wanted to see. Nicov wants to see an area that he can pressure. Nicov splits away. Beautiful. I mean, he knew the whole time. There was never a doubt. Also, house walling out these knights. Very well played. I think this hill is kind of the key to it all. You can take this stable out. Once the stable's out, you could maybe advance a bit further. You have to get good trades with the siege. Because like we said, the crossbows cannot be dealt with by the knights on their own right now. We do have more knights from Babaorum, though, and we do have +2 armor. So that could change things. And he's got to deal with... Nikov's got to deal with a constant distraction that is these knights. More stables. Babaorum had a lot of time with the Chinese to add eco. It was immediate 3-town center play. And Nicov with the shot. He receives a big shot, and he needs to micro, and he does not get the shot he needs. This could be a big problem. Every engagement had to go well. Nicov gets a TC up. But Chinese, with a great win rate, not being banned out. It feels like every time you're seeing him, they've got a really solid shot. Players had the option to ban it. They chose not to, but with the way this draft is set up, both players got that free first pick, and it was the same civ for them. It was Chinese for Nicov and for Baba, and Nicov already won with Chinese. Babaorum trying to get through here, but he's advancing forward, and Nikov's running. He doesn't know, but I'm sure he senses those crossbows are vulnerable right now. Nicov will send these knights home. They can defend from that. But, man, it's just like this eco, man, is insane. Look at this economy. Look at the amount of army he has. I don't know if Nicov can defend from this. Keep in mind, his knights have no upgrades, right? So the only reason he won that other fight is because of numbers. 3 mangonels, monks, skirmishers. We've got 3 stables, 2 stables producing knights all the time. And good luck, Nicov. You need defensive plays now, and then you need to find a way to hit that eco at some point too, because it's not going to get any worse behind this. Like maybe the most underrated player in the entirety of the qualifier right here in Babaorum. I said when he played up against his first round opponent, I think both those players are extremely underrated. His first round opponent is named Brave Bear, who other people might know as I Buy Power. But it was a 2-0 for Baba. And Babaorum with the micro. Babaorum fires. Nicov with the splits. Nicov, beautiful micro there. Beautiful micro there. And now Babaorum chooses to engage Nicov, hoping for conversions. Great defense from Nicov. He stays alive. Can he get another shot? He gets another shot. He gets a conversion. Nicov still making it so his opponent cannot break him with his brilliant crossbow play. More micro again. Nicov gets the hit. Wow. That was impressive. That was crazy, man. I mean, I thought he was just going to get completely obliterated here. He's still got a really nice shot. Needs that crossbow mass to continue to work for him here. Oh, boy. Okay, Nicov wants a castle. Does it need to be more forward than that? That's too risky, right? He's not that far behind economically. At least with the Vil count. Nikov's had 50 seconds of TC idle time. 55 seconds. That's ridiculous. Virtually flawless macro. And now we have a castle from Babaorum, who will see that army. And this is more of a defensive castle because he knows that fight was not good for him. But Nicov still no wheelbarrow. Still no bow saw. He's just missing upgrades, which will make the 100 villagers feel so much better for him. And now Nicov can't break his opponent easily because his opponent has a castle. Does go in, though. Will kill the siege. Will lose most of his knights in the process, and all of his monks go down. Oh, God. Oh, man. Nicov just forgot about his monks there for a second. This area is still a vulnerability for Babaorum. Because, like, especially against range units, you feel like you can't pressure Nicov now. Nikov's got this nice little corner locked down. Uh-oh. 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 Nicov. Oh, he doesn't have the corner anymore. He's not the... No, the knights are through. Huge raid. Just when we thought Nicov could be safe, the knights get through, and this did not take long for Baba. He said, I need to move now. It was right after he got his castle up. He was able to make the move, and now Nicov will look to pressure somewhere else, which is the right play, because this is horrible. But, like, we have Imp on the way for the Frenchman. He has a castle, which will mean Trebs. And as long as he can just hold from this for a little bit longer after this raid, he's going to be in the perfect position to be able to go and take this to our 5th game. Which would be a decider. We've got to look at civs. We've got to really think. I also don't even remember what map it would be on. I don't think it's islands. We played Mudflow already. Babaorum wanting to engage with 8 knights on this force. Maybe he just wants to take out the siege so he doesn't lose his TC here. It feels like Nicov can actually micro his way out of this one, though. So it's still more than enough for Babaorum. And this is where the regrouping of the archers could be a factor. And, of course, the game is already over at this point anyways. We have a 5th game coming. Wow. So, 2-2. A back-and-forth series in the final series in the 2nd round. And again, Chinese strong, Chinese this, Chinese that. But this was just like a super reactive game from Nicov. He'd never applied much pressure. Never tried to apply much pressure. Now, did he maybe see something that made him determine pressure wouldn't work? Maybe. Maybe, you start to think, I'm the better player. I can play like this, and he won't be able to compete. But, I mean, the play from Babaorum is just insanely clean. So he's looking to be the 3rd Frenchman into the 3rd round, actually, in this qualifier. Look at the res collect. It's just so good, man. It was Chinese, but it was how he played it. It was so good. Here we are, game 5. Now, I want to talk about this real quick, all right? Nicov, all the expectation, all the pressure on him right here. Margugu just said, Babaorum, he's already thinking about what he's going to do tomorrow. This guy has a job. He plays for fun. He obviously is immensely talented, but he hasn't committed as much of his life to this game, which might mean less pressure. But there was an event, last Hidden Cup, okay? And it was 4 player. It was after the previous Hidden Cup, and we're going to do it again this time, and it's called Visible Cup, okay? And basically, it's a tournament played. It's a tournament for players who are outside of the top 16. So players who did not make it into the main event of Hidden Cup. It has a prize pool, and it used the Hidden Cup settings. Make sense? So, there's no hidden aspect of their names, etc., etc. Babaorum won that tournament, and he beat some big names that are in this qualifier, too, back then. Now, that was like 3 years ago. But that was when I was like, wow, this guy's actually insane. So I think he won. Someone might need to fact check that. But he had a crazy run at the very least. And we've got 2-2 now. And so this guy is not new. He may be new to you, and I'm really happy if people are learning what he's all about today. He beat Bro in the final. Yeah, and he also beat like Capoch on the way. He had a crazy run. Dragon Star. All right, so Pond in the north here will be Babaorum's Pond, most likely. Malians, they spend less on their buildings, so there's a lot more savings to go around. If there would ever be a civ that would build an extra dock, get to the barracks, the archer range, the stable a little bit faster, make a few extra archers, just anything that costs wood, it would be the Malians, right? The Persians, their TC work rate is a little bit faster. Their dock work rate's there. They've got tons of HP on both those things as well. It is very hard to stop the Persians in Feudal Age on water on this map. Now, both players have golds, which are going to be frustrating to see. Nikov's got this gold with the hill, so he'll need to lock that down. He does always have this gold in the back if he's really worried about that. And then you've got this gold as well for Babaorum. Also, again, a gold in the back. But you have to focus on all 4 ponds. You have to focus on lands. And you only have so many resources, so it is choosing where to spend your resources and where you commit your focus. And we've seen amazing games on this map. And this is, at least from my perspective, the worst map to play if you are insanely nervous, right? A closed map like Gold Rush, it's like you have time to chill. Maybe on a closed map you think about the moment too much. Maybe on this you don't have time, but it's just like, if you are more prone to a misclick, if you are more prone to freaking out, this isn't going to help you too much. Nicov just missing the geese, sorry, as he's looking for his opponent here. Would it be considered disrespectful to Persian douche in a tournament? I guess it depends on who you do it to. But I've seen it before, so no. Actually a strategy. It's been used a lot in team games. You can look for the Legend of Rubenstock for when he did it years and years and years ago. Rubenstock TC dropped multiple players on the enemy team as his other team did his thing. So Yupe also did it to Fire, I think in Hidden Cup 4 qualifiers on this map. And he won. I forget what event it was. Yupe is like 1,800, Fire's like 2,400, and he actually won. I have video on that too, but don't go there and watch that now, because this is intense. Like, I know that Babaorum's insane, but I still didn't expect him to get to the 5th game here. When I started the series, I was like, he'll put up a good show. 3-1 Nicov. Can't bet against Nicov. Nicov walling up, wanting to play very safe with land. Not walling in that gold, so he'll probably take the gold in the back. Nicov has a goose here. That is kind of a non-issue, but if he were to lose it, it might tell him that his opponent's villager's there because he can see the scout here. And notice what these walls do not secure. These walls do not secure the water. So that is what this villager's coming over here to do. And Nicov, I think due to the moment and everything, wants a simpler game, which makes perfect sense, but he cannot forget that this pond is vulnerable. This is a basic on cross. And he needs to make sure that he's fishing the side here. You get one fishing ship onto the shore fish just so you can spot if your opponent docks you. It looks like Nicov wants to go land. Villager's going to gold already. And here comes that villager. This is so important, guys. And there goes Nicov with the fish. Now, does he fish here or does he check? Does he go look for it and then go back for the efficiency, or does he fish the fish? He just checks. Oh, that's the worst. That is the worst. He says, okay, I'm good, guys. I'm fine. I add the 5th fishing ship now, and maybe even the 6th because I can be greedy. That is the worst. He's adding the 6th. Oh, man. It's just the timing of it, right? But hold on. I think he'll... Hold on. Let's wait. I think Nicov could be fine. Watch this. He'll see the gold. He'll check again. He has to. No barracks on the front. He'll check again. I believe he'll check again, and I believe he can figure this out. He is Persians. Your opponent would be on gold for a reason here, Nicov. He's headed to gold. Is he going to check again? He's not. He's going to go for an archer range. He's going to think about army. He still does not know. And he just checked again. Okay, that is a great, great move from Nicov, and he can be fine here. Yeah. Second dock. You're Persians. You may lose some fish. It's not ideal, but you can still hold here. And that is great game sense from him. Because he could have just, maybe he loses this game, and he's like, man, I was just so unlucky. Could be angry at the world. But that there told him everything he needed. And now he's scouting this as well. And by the way, Babaorum also going to scout that area right now. So I don't know if he knows he's been spotted. Yeah, the fishing ship actually just peeked over here again to see if there was a flag and how many docks there were. Nicov will be okay. And Nicov even bringing the spear over. Look at these crazy walls for Babaorum. He's only gone 5 fish at his pond. He is going to add a 6th now. And his villager actually left and is going to dock here. But that does then mean that he doesn't have a repair villager here, which is even better for Nicov. I would have preferred the double dock commitment from Baba here, but it's so complicated. Because you only have so much that you can really afford. And Nicov, seeing the walls, is going to back away. And here he defends. Fishing ship's kind of getting some blocks in. There's no repair villager now. Nicov checking that other pond there. Can he get back to Hidden Cup? Where he has been... I keep forgetting Hidden Cup 1. It's been so long, but I'm pretty sure Nicov has been in every single one. Maybe someone could check that for me on Liquipedia. I like the level of pressure that Nicov has gone for here. I think this is actually perfect. It's enough where your opponent has to maybe respect it. It stops any archer play when you stall the range. It's annoying. This as well. Look at the quick wall there from Baba. This. Oh, that is so good, dude. That is so good. That could have so easily been denied, and Nicov is bringing his scout over too. So the spear and the scout definitely could have worked together. But now Nicov does know about it. And like we said, this doesn't seem like it'll do too much from here. Nicov did invest a lot into his own pond, though. So there is always that. He'll just bring his resources over here. Very low-risk play from both, but we do have Nicov on the left side. And we do have villagers headed to the right side because he does not want to allow his opponent to fish here freely. Nicov beat Tato 3-1 in the first round of Hidden Cup 1 before getting 3-0'd by Viper in the quarterfinal. Okay, crazy. Yeah, and then I think Hidden Cup 2, he was against Viper in the first round. I remember that. Hidden Cup 3. I forget. Actually, no, I think Nicov lost the first round in Hidden Cup 3, but it was a crazy series. I remember a game on Cross, actually, which was just phenomenal. Maybe against, like, Lan or someone. Here comes Nicov. It's not important now, but this dock should go up. Villager may have a small chance at surviving in here, but unlikely. And this dock didn't end up doing much. Well done, Nicov. We could have lost the game. Losing those 6 fishing ships without being able to defend any of it would have been brutal for him. And oh, wait a second. And now they're both going to be on the left side too. But I mean, listen, Persian docks. Super tanky, right? It's really hard to take them down. So I think you're going to need more investment if you're the Malians, and that's precisely what we'll see here from Baba. And then at this point, you're tempted to do other things. You could be going crossbow. You could be going for knights. Like, the land still very much matters. But right now, it is 1 safe pawn for both players. And then it is a pawn on the left and right contested. Oh my god, Nicov missed his buildings there and just scrambled up the blacksmith. How long did he have the resources? Hold on. Yeah, he had his resources for a long time and had no blacksmith. So he just scrambled up the blacksmith. Okay. I'd like to see Nicov use the archers to actually kill the Dockville. I think seeing this... You're not going to... Well, maybe the gold is tempting, but I don't think you're going to have a lot of... Yeah, he's going to go to the gold. I don't know how much success you'll have at the base, but he finds an archer kill. Not bad. Double dock from Nicov here. Doesn't have his vills around. War galley upgrade will probably be the first click from both if they can afford it. And again, the eco. We've no farms for Nicov. We do have farms for Babaorum. I think that's better. I think you need to be transitioning into farms here. This version, it requires some level of transitioning into farms. That was kind of the goal when we designed the amount of fish, well, 3 years ago now. Whereas, like, other versions have had a lot of fish. You don't need farms. Nicov, though, applying pressure. He's got ranged units. Could kill a Vill. What saves? Both those villagers getting saved is pretty ridiculous. But still a lot of pressure. War galley upgrade on the way. And that comes in now for Baba, who is almost going to take this dock out. Also has 2 docks over here. If he can defend from this army for a bit longer, with even just a Scorpion, it could be okay. Nicov runs through. Nicov runs right into a Scorpion. He has to run away. Wow. Such sick defense from Babaorum. I don't know how he did it. But over here, Nicov. War galley upgrade! Oh! Boom. Okay, boom. Nicov is going to take the better engagements. He will hold this pond and probably win this pond. And over on this side, he's losing it. What a crazy game. Nicov. PC. Very front of the map and a siege workshop. Now, he does not know his opponent has a stable right now. So, you know, the siege idea might feel a little worse to me than monks to get, like, relics or something. Eco upgrades could be a talking point. Nicov still no horse collar. Nicov soon out of berries. He is adding more fish over here, though, which is really nice. I think there's very little chance Baba can come out to kill the fish, but that's what you want to try and do right before this goes down. Yeah, that's what he's trying, but it's not going to work. Over here, still lots of dinging, still lots of fighting. Baba is repairing, but it's not enough for that ship or this one, which still gives Nicov a fighting chance in that pond. And we have a forward siege workshop, forward monastery from Nicov, and he's got archers looping around. And wouldn't he love to see that TC? He could actually deny it. But nope, he wants to break through. Oh, man, what a fun but intense game. Nicov, his eco, okay, the upgrades now, it's good. But he's going to need some farms when the fishing ships start to run dry, or fish traps. He's almost out of salmon here. He's almost out. He's got 30 salmon remaining. That brings me pain just having to say it. But siege is coming. Love this TC position from Baba. It protects the wood and the gold. And I love how he's built up his base, honestly. And he seems a little bit more comfortable transitioning in towards the farms, but he doesn't have the fish that Nicov does. And he, too, will run out of fish here. He's just got one thing of salmon back here that he didn't scout. We'll see. Will Nicov fish trap here? These days, it's part of the meta. You gotta get these things on fish traps at some point. And Knight comes forward. Nice defense there from Nicov. Nicov adding a stable. Nicov making monks. Nicov maybe thinking the siege won't do much for him right now. But he doesn't really see a target yet. Honestly, the gold could be a target. Babaorum knows about the siege workshop there. Guys, can you feel like this is so tense right now? Oh, the knights got through! How? How did the knights get through? Was there a hole? Oh, Nicov trying to kill the knights. Quick wall! Quick wall! Oh, that's so annoying. How? I'm not completely sure. But the knights get in. They do some damage. They annoy Nicov. They give Babaorum time to add farms and whatnot at home, which Nicov is certainly not doing here. His eco is a wreck. But the knight will go down. There's some farms from Nicov. And there's the horse color upgrade. Okay, so that's good. Such a close game. What about fish traps here, Nicov? Keep in mind, of that military count right now for Nicov, he's got, I mean, how many fires? It should say in capture age. 9 fires and 2 demos that are useless. His army count's not that insane. Here we go. Feels like we could have a natural transition from both into Cav with these civs. Siege is moving forward. Babaorum sensed it. Babaorum knew this was coming. Babaorum catching up on upgrades. He is on stone thinking about castles. Nicov has 3 relics. Nicov has collected slightly more resources, but it is close. He's got a hill here, which will feel very good for him. And beautiful attack ground, but he doesn't get the kill. 2 HP off from getting the kill there, and he'll want it. Still doesn't get it. The archers, the camels, all this stuff could be helpful. But this hills can snowball on you when your opponent needs to receive 2 shots to lose their mangonel against yours. Now, this one's weak, so that could be one-shotted uphill. This one cannot. And Nicov gets a perfect engagement right when he starts to really need these engagements. It was perfect. Siege Workshop is going down. Nikov's eco is flying behind this. And the Siege Workshop will likely go down. I think we see him hop out here. Babaorum will not hop out. Well, not on the front like I expected. And Nicov almost gets him again. But he needs to repair these. You don't want to have a bunch of weak siege on the hill, but he takes out the Siege Workshop. Wow. And I think Nicov also caught a glimpse of these knights back here. So he will know that this is knight play and that camels and his monks will work perfectly. And I think the score, I mean, it's not res collected. It's not KD. I think a lot of it is just having extra navy. But it's certainly not going to make Babaorum feel any better. Can Nicov make it to the 3rd round? I keep saying, can Nicov make it back to Hidden Cup? He still has to go through round 3 and round 4, but Nicov losing round 2 would have shocked everyone across our scene. And he's playing patient here. Very patient. Which is, it's so easy, especially when you're the favorite, to try and force the issue, overextend. Maybe he's learned throughout the series that he can't do that against this player. 5 mangonels for Nicov. Both players have enough for a castle. This is stressing me out, though. The split! He split 4 mangonels different directions! What a play! Only loses 1. And now the knights are coming in. Nikov's camels are on the other side. But Nicov still has monks around. And even though he loses siege, he's still getting conversions, getting the kills he needs. And Nicov wants that castle. I think Babaorum's got to force the fight. I think you have to hope that your upgrades win you the fight. Because right now, he's got so many upgrades over Nicov. Here we go. The siege is out of the picture. I think +2 armor and forging. And Bloodlines win him the fight. Nicov doesn't have it. Nicov doesn't have any upgrades. And he quickly goes for a defensive castle. He can lose all of his monks. He can lose the castle. Quick gates. Quick walls. Oh my god. I can't believe what we're witnessing right now. Babaorum cleared up the fight. He's still alive. And he has Nicov on the ropes. What a great timing on that fight. And now what does he do with his castle here? Also, if that castle gets denied right there, it's just game over, by the way. This castle was a must-have. The fact that Nicov quick gated it like that was ridiculous. But listen, guys, you've got to go imp right now. You've got to go imp if you're Babaorum. You've taken good fights. Your opponent has to make more army because of you, right? So now, the correct play, that is the same hole that actually bothered him earlier, I believe. Now, as you run into Nikov's eco, and Nicov has to just quick wall the entire map, you go Imperial Age to treb Nicov down. This is crazy. This is just insane. And it was because of the lack of upgrades from Nicov and the monks maybe not getting all the conversions they need, but Persians have never had great monks. They don't get Sanctity. It's tough to count on them. The raids are still working out for Babaorum here. And Babaorum idling his TCs. And he, according to, Tarsus, who I believe would know, the 30-plus-year-old engineer who has a day job, who hasn't never been full-time age, who has never been really that close to qualifying for a Hidden Cup, who Margugu said he's already thinking about what he's going to eat after work tomorrow or something. He's up to imp, and he can treb Nicov down. And let's think about Nikov's position. Nicov has to sense this. Now, it makes sense with the game flow. Your opponent hasn't made any more army, right? You've caught up on army. You've stabilized. You're probably going to start to push him back a little bit. You have to get up to imp as well. This castle is such a huge target. What an amazing player we have here in the red. He is so good, man. The hype is real. Now, he needs to get to massing army, right? He needs army to protect his trebs. That's a big thing. I love how he's expanded his eco. Guys, this is everything for Nicov. Both players have so much golden stone forward on this map. This is everything. The relics, the castles, the middle of the map wins this game. That is going to be an amazing fight for Babaorum because the Gebeto are in there. Gebeto are really good against Camel. And that's a great spot for a castle. Here come the Vils. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it in the game. He immediately comes to the hill. And Nikov's heart is just going to sink when he hears the bloop when his opponent hits him. It's just the most depressing little bloop. The units could get trapped in here. You do have to be careful. Babaorum with the lead. Over here, though, Nicov heading over to the golds. And he will find villagers. This is perfect timing. Oh, yes. It's a feast. There's Imp. Actually, it's not bloop, is it? It's more like, well, whatever. First treb's on the way for Baba. Second treb will be on the way for Baba, but Nicov found some nice kills here. Nikov's going to go full camel. He's getting bloodlines, which he still didn't have. He's getting armor, which he still didn't have. Malians do have the superior camels, though. And Babaorum, his army control is just so good here. No heavy camel upgrade. As I say it, he clicks it, of course. Nicov will need to do the same, and Nikov's going to click chemistry. But Nicov is well behind in res collected now. He's well behind in momentum, and he will start to lose this castle. Nicov has no stone. I do not see an easy way out right now for Nicov. Because there's not, like... Sometimes you keep waiting for the better player to keep doing things correctly, and then the other guy to make a mistake. I'm not seeing it. Like, I'm not expecting it from Babaorum. Hand cannons is great for Nicov, though. Hand cannons could be amazing here. It's good against Camel. It's good against Gebeto. But how is he supposed to win the game with that? Because you will just... Like, Babaorum, if he has castles all over the map, he can make decisions to counter that. And he even wants to castle here right now. Nicov would love the conscription upgrade. He's not going to get it. That castle will go down. He'll have heavy camel in. This must be so high pressure right now for Nicov. Look at those walls. Babaorum paying attention to everything. That house there gave him vision on that. That's why he was there. And Nicov has vision on this, but he can't exactly look away from this massive fight that's happening on the front of his base, can he? And all 4 of those relics. Still has monks. Monks into the TC. The Gabetto wanted to snipe the monks. That's pretty epic, actually. And now hand cannons are out. And now we have Furimba for Babaorum. +5 attack onto those camels. He will have a total of +7. And still making Gabetto. Seems like a really good army comp. And also, he's making stables on the right side so he can raid there. He's going to stick with Gabetto and stick with Camel here. But I do think hand cannon is a way out here for Nicov. It's really good against Camel and also against Gabetto. And it's 200 pop for both in the craziest, most competitive series of the second round and the last series of the second round. And the Furimba upgrade, man, just making the difference. That extra attack, even though camels aren't known as great here, it's chewing through the hand cannons. It's doing enough for Babaorum, who still has the trebs, who still has Gabetto, who still has the position, and will soon have the relics. Nicov is up against it. Like, he needs a way. He can't push the castles. There's castles everywhere right now. There's going to be a castle here, even, from Babaorum. He's canceled that idea. Hand cannons, though, still being massed from Nicov, who's funnily enough taking all of his gold right here. He's like building new mining camps because other ones are getting trepped down. 30 hand cannons, and I'm happy with Nikov's position. 30. He's got 12 right now. And what do you do as the Malians if there's hand cannons out there? I think you can add your own, honestly. It seems silly, but just match it. I don't know if skirms would be the best idea. Or you could just, I don't know, just keep pushing with camels because you have so much attack. And Nicov will not be back in Hidden Cup. Babaorum wins 3-2 in a stunner. Crazy performance from him. And to reiterate what I said, it's not that Nicov played bad here today. Nicov played great here today. But Babaorum, super solid, super clean, and just a player to look for as we look at this bracket now. I mean, I even said the words when I looked at all the groups in the qualifier that the one with Nicov was the one that was the most predictable for me. I felt like Nicov was going to be predictable to be the #1 person to qualify there. He is sadly out. I'm gutted for him. I love Nicov. He's going to be distraught. This is painful for him. But it also is, what makes, the bitter taste of defeat is what makes victory so great on the other side of it. And I can't help but be excited about what we just witnessed here from Babaorum. Congratulations to him. I hope he keeps it up. And, man, what a crazy game. I mean, I can't help but feel like for Nicov, he had such a good position on this hill. And I think he thought with a couple conversions, with my siege and with my numbers, I always win the fight. And it was just an awful, awful fight. Babaorum had just enough. And it was the coolness and the calmness to boom and be patient and wait. And the recognition to know you could take that fight. Because if you take that fight and you don't win, could be game over for you. But maybe he felt like he was going to win it the whole way through. Just crazy, crazy stuff. Well, there it is. Babaorum wins. And he had to win 2 straight to do it. 55k res collected. Just so good, this player, man. He played the map so well. Look at his vision. Look at his control. Look at his eco balance. Look at his upgrades. Just fascinating stuff, man. I mean, just tiny moments, man. Like, at one point when everything else was happening, because of this house from Feudal Age, he had sent a couple camels here. And then even Nicov quick-walled it. But, like, just, like, stuff like that. And to still have the core, like, mechanics down and the macro and the decision-making and all the big moments, too, it's just beautiful. So, crazy. All right, so let's look at that bracket now because that definitely is going to change people's thinking on who potentially qualifies out of that bracket. And also, I think, says a lot about, Yeah. Let's just look at it. Sorry, I'm getting too excited here. So, in this group, we have freaking Andy and Sebastian, which is already going to be insane. That's in 2 days. That's already insane. And then Babaorum against Kingston. And I expected Kingston to go through. Kingston's a really good player. He's had top 16 performances here or there. But Babaorum beating Nicov is the big one. Nikov's one of the more successful players, historically throughout his career in the whole qualifier. So bummed for him, man. I really am. I hope he's not too down on himself, but Babaorum moves on. So freaking Andy, Sebastian, Babaorum, and Kingston in that group. Crazy.